What's up, everybody? Ron Harris here, I'm the online editor. Here to talk about something I really love is training. I do talk about drugs and stuff and these little feuds and who's using fake weights and whatnot, but I really love training and I love to talk about training more so. Today I want to talk about the push-pull leg split, which is making a big comeback. It was actually very popular years and years ago, sort of went away, and now it's made a resurgence. I think a lot of people became aware of it last year when Chris Bumstead adopted it for a while. He seems to be back to more of the bro split. So first of all, let me say that there is no perfect split. There's no best split that's going to be ideal for everybody. If you found a split that works very well for you and you're getting great results and you're very happy with it, keep doing what you're doing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, if you want to try something different that might be more beneficial for you, might enjoy more, just might give you better results, because after all, isn't that what we're really in the gym for? In the gym, or at home, in our home gym training for, whatever the case may be. So push-pull legs, it's very simple. You do all the pushing muscles one day, chest, shoulders, mainly front delts, front and side delts, and triceps. Pull, on that day I do all the pulling muscles, so everything in the back, rear delts, biceps, traps, and legs, self-explanatory, legs. So three reasons I want to give you. The three huge reasons I believe this is a great split that a lot of you, if you try it, you'd probably like it a lot and you'd probably stick with it for quite a while. I've been doing it now for, I want to say, it's coming up on 2 years. It's been a while. I know it's been well over a year. So the first thing is there's no overlap. And what I mean by that is with the traditional split, you got to figure things out like, okay, I trained chest today. I want to train something. If you're trying to design a split, you can't train shoulders tomorrow because shoulders were involved in chest. You can't do triceps tomorrow. They were involved in chest. You couldn't have done them the day before because that would have given you overlap that would have negatively affected your chest workout. So you're constantly trying to figure out, how do I split my body parts up? So most people arrive at something like they'll do chest, maybe chest along with, say, triceps. Then maybe the next day they'll do back. Then they have to take off a day, or maybe they'll do legs. The whole point I'm trying to make is with traditional splits, you always have to be worried, especially with shoulders and arms, that they're not overlapping in any way day before, day after, or if they're very sore, maybe 2 days later. Say you did awesome arm workout today. Triceps are killing you. Today, I'm recording this on a Saturday. Let's say Monday's your chest day. Monday comes along, you're in the gym or at home, whatever the case may be, pushing out your chest exercises, and your triceps are still sore. That's definitely going to have a negative impact on your chest workout. It's going to keep you from pushing the weights that you would normally be able to push. If your triceps are still sore, they're still not fully recovered. Push-pull legs allows for full recovery of these related muscle groups. So you don't have to worry about that. If you do all your pushing muscles today, you know you're not going to get to them for at least 3 days because you got to go through the cycle. So that's the main attraction for me. Is I used to have a heck of a time. Traditionally, I would put together a lot of splits that would look like chest. I would do one arm group with that. It would either be biceps or triceps. So if I did biceps, I couldn't do back the next day because I just did biceps. I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do next? I can't do shoulders the next day. I can't do back. I can't do shoulders. I guess I'll do legs. So now you've done chest and biceps and legs, and now you got to figure out the rest of the training week. So, okay, I got to do back. I can't do back with triceps, not that you would. So typically I would have done something like back and then shoulders and triceps. But it was always a challenge, and there were always situations where some body part would stay sore in the upper body a little longer than I had anticipated. You don't run into that with push-pull legs. You train those muscles, the related muscles that are all working toward the same general purpose, pushing or pulling. Then they have at least, so say you ran the cycle straight through, you didn't take any rest days, chest, shoulders, triceps, back and biceps, legs. Okay, so now if you did chest and triceps, if you ran through it, you started the cycle all over again with no break, you still had 24, 48, 72 hours between workouts for those muscle groups, which it's probably close to ideal. If you're younger and you have great recovery ability and you can sleep a lot and you can eat a lot, you could probably run through that cycle twice without needing a day off. So push-pull legs off. And that that leads me to the next thing is frequency. I don't believe a muscle group needs a full week to recover. Most people who've been in the game a long time don't believe that either. So if you train chest today, do you think it really needs a full week? Push, legs, pull? Yeah, Joker's got a good point here, and I'm going to get to that. Flexibility is my next point. This is a very flexible split. But in terms of the frequency, I do believe you're better off training the body parts a little more frequently. Maybe twice a week would be ideal for most people. That's how it was done for many, many years, and bodybuilders got great results. Why did things shift to doing once a week? It all came about after Dorian Yates won the Mr. Olympia in 1992. Everyone wanted to know, how does this guy train? And we all heard, that was I was a young guy back then. I was very, very intrigued with Dorian's system. I especially was intrigued because I had been influenced by some of the same people he had. Arthur Jones, Ellington Darden, Mike Mentzer. So that whole idea of briefer training, more rest and recovery, it appealed to me, and it appealed to a lot of people. So Dorian was only in the gym 4 days a week. He would hit a body part once a week. So if he did chest on Monday, he didn't hit it again till next Monday. And, the guy won 6 Mr. Olympias in a row. So a lot of people adopted his training style in the hopes that they would get, if not similar results to him, which was unrealistic, better results. And it did work well for a lot of people, because a lot of people were overtrained. A lot of people were just doing too much volume. They weren't taking rest days. So this forced them to sort of step back and look at their recovery, which a lot of people never really put much credence in. I don't even remember hearing the word recovery much until Dorian started winning the Olympia. Certainly Mike Mentzer wrote about it. Like I said, Arthur Jones and Ellington Darden, but Jones was more of an influence in the 70s when he came out with the Nautilus machines. By the time the 90s were around, when I was really into bodybuilding, working in the industry and everything and competing, you didn't hear that term as much. You didn't hear his writings, especially. It was sort of archaic by that point. But I do like the idea of frequency, and it was something that other people who have had very successful training systems also believed in. If you're familiar with Dante Trudel and DC training, Dante believes in hitting body parts more frequently, but with less volume. And I'll get to the volume after I do the 3 reasons, because that's something you do want to adjust. So Dante believed, as did others, that if you train a muscle group a little more frequently, not necessarily with as many exercises and sets, but if you give it more what he called growth hits, it has more of an opportunity to grow. It gets more stimulation to grow than it would if you only hit it once a week. So if you're hitting a body part twice a week, obviously that's twice as many opportunities for it to grow. Of course, you do need to address recovery. You do need to get enough sleep. You do need to eat. And we'll talk about the volume, I said, just a little bit. But the frequency, I do believe you're going to see results, better results. Most people hitting a body part more frequently, because with the exception of maybe if you had one of the most insane leg workouts ever, if you're someone who really pushes yourself and does supersets and drop sets and giant sets and all that stuff, maybe your legs will stay sore for a week. But don't you think you might be better off working your legs hard, but not so hard that they stay sore for a full week, and then 4 or 5 days you can train them again? I believe so, because I believe if you go too long without training a body part after you've trained it, if you let too much time go by after training a body part, I believe you will lose some of the gains you made. It's one of those, let's say, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back situations. And, I honestly wish I had tried this when I was younger. In my prime growing years, I'd have a more realistic idea of whether or not, how effective it would be, because I'm already pretty much maxed out. I'm 50 years old. I've been training since I was 14. A lot of you people out there, you're not in that situation. A lot of you are younger. You're in your early years of training. This is the time to try different systems. Try this. Try a lot of different ways of training. See what works for you, because you never know what's going to work for you until you try it. And I used to just dismiss things out of hand, like, that's stupid. That's never going to work, without giving it a chance. And now I realize there were a lot of missed opportunities, missed training techniques that I should have taken advantage of. Okay, flexibility is the last reason I want to give you for trying push-pull legs. You don't have to do it in that order. You don't have to do push-pull legs. You could do legs, pull, push. You could do pull, push, legs. It doesn't matter. But when I say flexibility, you could always use the same sequence that you're training those 3 muscle groupings in: pushing muscles, pulling muscles, and legs. But you can put rest days anywhere you need to. You could take You could do the whole sequence, push, pull legs, push, pull legs. Maybe you'll run through that sequence 3 or 4 times before you need a day off. For people that recover very well and have really good endurance, mostly younger people with athletic backgrounds, I found seem to recover better in general, just because their bodies are used to it. But you could throw a rest day in anywhere you need to or anywhere that you have to. So, something comes up. Maybe you want to go to the beach with your friends or your family, or there's something for work that comes up. Life throws things at us, and there are a lot of times when we can't get to the gym on a day. You got to help somebody move, or you have to move, or there's times when you're going to miss a training day. And if you have it locked in that Monday is chest day, Tuesday is legs, if you have it locked in that way, you're kind of screwed, because if you try to catch up to it, now you're missing days and your whole schedule's off. And like, now next week, Tuesday, I got to do chest on Tuesday and legs on Wednesday, and it throws you off. But when you have something like this, you can plug in rest days or off days anywhere you want. It does not throw you off one bit. You just pick up right where you left off, and you're none the worse for it. The reason I like legs between push and pull, let the upper body rest between push and pull. Yeah, Joker, I agree with that. I personally don't do that. I don't feel my upper body being sore in pushing muscles has any impact on the pulling muscles, if that makes sense. If my chest, shoulder, front delts, and triceps are a little sore, I don't have any problem with doing back, biceps, rear delts, traps, even though traps are kind of interconnected with everything. They're a weird muscle group. They don't really, it's hard to put them anywhere and say they definitely should be on back day. They definitely should be on shoulder day. You put them in where you want to put them in. But I do agree with that to a large extent. Now, what's this guy say? Kevin, I'd like to have Tony Atlas on your show, or Ted Arcidi. Funny story about Ted Arcidi. He was my substitute English teacher for a week when I was in 7th grade in Waltham, Massachusetts, a place called Central Junior High School. And I didn't know who he was. I was 13 years old. I had, what's up, Flex Diesel? Bo Lewis. Bo Lewis is getting ready for the Puerto Rico Pro, right, Bo? 212 competitor, made great improvements since last year. Trained legs today with Hector Mendoza. Did you do it at Carbon Culture Gym? Brandon's gym? Oh, you're doing Tampa. Okay, good. I don't have to wait as long. Tampa Pro, everybody. That's July 31st through August 1st in Tampa. Tampa. It's going to be a great show. Great show. Can't wait for Tampa. First open in 212 show since the quarantine's over. It's going to be awesome. So 2 adjustments that I would suggest if you want to try push-pull legs. The first one is less volume. Don't do your normal full chest workout, your normal full shoulder workout, triceps. You don't want to be doing, 30 work sets. That's 40 work sets. I would just pick a couple exercises for chest, 3 exercises at the most, 3 for shoulders at the most, 2 for triceps, and then next time you train it, you can use different exercises. If you try to do full workouts for everything the way that you've done them when you're just doing biceps on one day, shoulders on another day, with the exception of legs doesn't have to change much, but I do find that the pushing day, you are going to have to scale back your volume more so than anything else. With the back and biceps day, not so much. Back is a lot of work. To hit the back properly is going to take you a few different exercises. You have to do a good probably 3 or 4 work sets of each one. But you'll also find that if you've never done biceps after back, which a lot of people won't, because back is a large muscle group, takes a lot of time and energy to get through. But you'll find you don't need to do a whole lot for biceps after that. They've done so much indirect work on all your chin-ups or pull-downs, your various rowing movements, things like that. By the time you get to biceps, they're very much warmed up. You just need to do maybe a couple things like some easy bar curls, some concentration curls, some standing dumbbell curls. You shouldn't need, I find I don't need more than 2 different exercises for biceps after back, sometimes just 1. Biceps is a very simple muscle group. It's a hinge joint. It's just curls. That's all you do is curls. Another suggestion I would make, in addition to scaling back the volume on the push day, and probably doing a little less for biceps, legs. If you're doing a full leg workout, if you're used to doing legs on their own day, nothing changes. Just leg day. You don't have to make any special considerations. But the final thing I would ask you to try, or suggest you try, I should say, is to rotate, starting with chest one time when you do the push day, and then the next day start with shoulders. Why would you do that? It's because chest is pretty demanding. It's you're pushing a lot of heavy weight. It's taxing, and it's a lot of tax it's a lot of stress on your front delts in particular. So any of you who have done shoulders after chest know that your shoulder pressing definitely suffers. You're not going to be pressing as much weight. You won't have as much gas left in the tank for shoulders. So I would suggest, because shoulders are such an important muscle group, you know, the very first thing you notice when a physique comes out there is that general shape, the X frame. And to have that V taper, which feeds into the X frame with the flaring thighs, you do need wide, round, capped shoulders. So you don't want to slack on your shoulder training. You don't want anything to take away from your shoulder gains. So then you're going to say, what about my chest? I don't find that this particular method takes away too much from the chest training. It is also going to take away from how much you can do for chest, obviously. They're both pressing movements. So if you're doing shoulder pressing first, overhead pressing, it will take a little bit away from your strength on your incline and flat pressing for chest, and vice versa. It's a lot of pressing. They're similar motions. You're pushing things over you or away from you. It's all very much related. However, I would rotate those because you don't want your shoulders to suffer. If you have a very weak chest, you know, and your shoulders are dominant, then always do chest first, or vice versa. If you have really good shoulders and they grow anyway, always do chest first. So if one of those two groups grows easily for you, whether it's chest or shoulders, I would always do that one second. But if you're concerned about maximizing the growth potential of each one, I would alternate those. Well, that's been my little spiel, guys. Like I said, I love talking about training. I know talking about other things would probably get me more clicks and views, and I do that from time to time, of course. But training is my thing. I love it. Been at it 36 years, going on 37. Love training. And I think most people just don't put enough value in training. They just want to hear about drugs. What drug can I take? What drug? Is this drug better than that drug? Is this SARM better than that drug? Is this supplement better than that supplement? And I start asking about training, and they're like, they don't even want to talk about their training. You know, the assumption is that everyone's training to their optimum level, and that's not true. Unless you've tried a lot of different types of training, you really can't know if there's something you're missing. Who was your favorite Ms. Olympia? Now, you said Ms. I hope that wasn't a typo. Favorite Ms. Olympia? Linda Murray. Yeah, Linda was awesome. Corey, of course, was a legend in her own. She did a lot for the popularity of the sport, had her own TV show. Much respect for all the Ms. Olympia champions. My personal favorite, physique-wise, personality, everything, Linda Murray. And she still looks phenomenal at, I believe she's like 56 years old now. She looks awesome. You know, not one line in her face, still in awesome shape. Well, that's it. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Hope gyms are opening up soon where you are if they're not open yet. And we'll get through this together. That's it. Have a great workout the next time you hit the gym or your little room in your house. Talk to you later. Later, Bo.